So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Triple M here, and today we're doing a full review of the new Amazon Fire TV 4K Max. Now this has been long awaited, a lot of teasers going out. Finally, we have a Fire Stick that's a little bit faster than the previous generation, also added Wi-Fi 6, which I'm excited to test for you. Now before we jump into the unboxing and setting this up, testing it out, do want to give a big shout out to one of my subscribers who won a Fire TV Stick. Now this was announced on the community section, so big congrats to him. And once this video is released, I will be shipping a Fire Stick directly to him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the all new Fire Stick, like I said, it's been long awaited, a lot of teasers, but here's what we know as far as the specs. Now this is claimed to be 40% more powerful than the previous gen. It also supports Wi-Fi 6, supports Dolby Vision, HDR, HDR10, and immersive Dolby audio. Now you are going to get those streaming apps that you're used to. So if you watch live TV, you can use SLING, YouTube TV, anything that you can find on the App Store, you should be able to install and use it. This should also give us a better gaming performance with the 750 megahertz GPU. With this, you also get 8 gigs of RAM, 2 gigs of internal storage. So this is a little bit faster than the previous gen, which had 1.5 gig. The CPU is 1.8 gigahertz and the graphics is 750 megahertz. So in the box, the first thing you're going to have is a remote controller. Now, this is a new design for the Fire TV Stick 4K. They did add some shortcut buttons, but overall, it's a pretty good looking remote. It feels good in your hand. So you're going to have the power button up top, your Alexa button, navigation, back home, menus, fast forward, rewind, your volume controls, as well as your quick launches in the bottom. Just like previous generations of the Fire TV Stick, it does use 2 AAA batteries, and those batteries are included. So next you're going to have a quick start guide or instructional manual. This is going to tell you everything you need to know about setting up the device. Like I said, if you've owned a Fire Stick before, this should be pretty self-explanatory. It also comes with a micro USB to USB-A, and this is kind of disappointing because in the age of USB-C, you think or hope that it would make that upgrade to USB-C, but still micro USB for the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. They also have a dongle for the HDMI, and this basically turns your device flexible. That way you don't have to plug it in directly to the TV. Next is the Fire TV Stick itself, and this looks identical to the previous version of the Fire TV Stick. Micro USB port on the side, and then you do have your HDMI plug-in. So just to give you a side-by-side comparison between the new Fire Stick and the previous generation, as I said, they are identical as far as the actual size and the design, so you really hard to pick them apart. Only way to tell them apart, guys, is looking at the front, the logo. One just has a smiley face and the other one actually says Fire TV on the front. Now if you're someone that like to add accessories to your Fire TV Stick, happy to say that OTG adapters still work. This is one iteration of an OTG adapter. They come in different forms and sizes, and I'll link a couple in the description. But how this works is it does have a micro USB that you can plug into the Fire Stick. Then you have the pass-through power. So this is where your original micro USB adapter or power adapter will go ahead and plug in. And once you plug that in, you do have a spare USB port, and this is where you can add whatever you want to. So if you want to add a portable drive, you want to add Ethernet adapter, you can also add a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. Whatever portable USB device you have should work in this port. So got it all set up. The Fire Stick is pretty smooth. We are going to do a benchmark a little bit later just to kind of see where it stands up. Now for you guys that are not familiar with the Fire Stick, this is the new layout. Recently did an overall of their user interface, and this is what it looks like now. So up top you have your home, fine. You also have your frequently used apps. So a quick overview for anyone that's new. If you go from home, you go down, you can see your sponsored, your recently used applications. Next up, Netflix recommendations. Also depends on what subscriptions you have, you might see some recommendations. Find, of course, you can search for your applications, your movies, you can search for anything, and this is compatible with the voice function on your remote. This is the OTG adapter. I did talk about this a little bit earlier. Plugged in, the power is plugged in right here. Then it goes into the Fire Stick. In the front, I do have a spare USB port. Now this is one of many versions of an OTG adapter. Now this is also another version that I use. Same basic layout, but this one is more flexible because it does have the string. So that kind of eliminates that bulk at the Fire Stick. So either one you choose should work the same, but we do have different configurations for the OTG adapter. so that's out of the way. Let's go ahead and we'll do a couple of network speed tests. So I will be testing on different types of network today. I know that the Wi-Fi 6 is one of the big features. So what I want to test is the Wi-Fi 6 network. Also want to test regular 5G, and also wanted to test out on Ethernet to USB adapter. We're going to use the OTG adapter. Let's go ahead and get into it. Also remember that this is going to depend heavily on how you have your device placed. Mine's just laid on the flat right now. And you can see I'm currently getting a download speed of 105 megabits per second, upload at about 16. All right guys, so this should really demonstrate the difference between your Wi-Fi 6 and your normal network. So you can see my speed pretty much tripled from the 5 gigahertz, and this is one of the reasons a lot of people go out and get this device. But so just to keep everything honest, I do have a Ethernet to USB adapter. We're going to go ahead and test it out. This one is a Cable Matters brand, so I know that the U-Greens work depending which model you use, but this one seems to work as well. So let's go ahead and plug it in. So if you look closely, you can see the link light going, which means it does have an active network connection. Now when I go up to the top, guys, you are going to see that it is connected via Ethernet, and it gives you the IP address. So let's go ahead and do a quick test there as well. As I explained in a couple videos, you're not going to see top speeds from the Ethernet adapter. Most Ethernet adapters is going to cap at 100 megabits per second, so that's the best speeds you're going to get. And you can see right here I'm at about 73 and about 17 on the upload. Now that doesn't mean you don't need an Ethernet adapter. If your Wi-Fi is extremely poor, definitely recommend getting one of these. But so far, Wi-Fi 6 is winning as advertised. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in a portable USB to this device. Now, I should let you know that this should be formatted to FAT32. If it's any other format, once you plug it in, it will ask you to format that drive and you won't be able to use it. So better off just format it on your computer, FAT32, put what you want to put on it, and then you can go ahead and plug it in and it should be good to go. Now, if you have a new hard drive that you want to use either for external storage or you want to use it to adapt storage, this Firestick does allow that via the OTG adapter. All you need to do is plug it in, guys. You will see the prompt asking you what you want to do, if you want to do external storage or if you want to do internal storage. Then you can select the correct format. So this is already formatted. Let's go ahead and plug it in. All right, so once it's plugged in, what I would recommend doing, especially if you're installing applications, you want to go to your settings, go to My Fire TV, I'm going to go to developer options. I'm going to make sure Apps from Unknown Sources is selected. Once you select that, Firestick will tell you which apps are able to actually install apps. So Analytics, we have Downloader. I'm going to go ahead and turn on Explore and ES File Explorer. Now I'm going to go back. Now to the left, I do have a drive called My Mojo. Let's go ahead and expand it. I do have some APKs right here. And on the sample, I do have one video. Let's go ahead and play that video. This is actually a review that I did not too long ago.
Of course, today we're taking a look at a pretty decent, let's go.
So that played flawlessly. That was a 4K video. You can see the size right there, 3840 by 2160. Total size of 881 megabytes. So definitely not a small file, and this handled it with no issues. I do also have some APKs that have 3D Mark, IDA64, Geekbench, and Send Anywhere. We're going to see if we can install these. So let's start with IDA64. All right, so install with no problems. Hit done. I'm going to install Geekbench. All right. And let's go ahead and install 3D Mark as well. And again, all three applications installed with no issues. So here we are in IDA64, and just go over some of the specifications of the Firestick, the internals. I know they tell you what they want to tell you, but this is where you get down to the real meat of what's actually in your Fire TV stick. So the device manufacturer, as well as the models right there, brand Amazon, the board is Kara. Hardware is showing you that it has an MT8696. Install RAM is 2 gigs, total memory 1678. As far as the available memory, it tells you what's here. So depending how much you're using, that's what that number, and it is fluctuating. As far as internal storage, you can see a little bit over 5 gigs. Free space is a little bit over 2 gigs, and it does show the external storage that I have plugged in as well. So 14.5 gigs storage there, and external storage free space, it's a little bit over 2 gigs. So CPU tells you that it's a 4X ARM Cortex A55 and its clock speed is at 1794 megahertz. Has your network information right there, probably blur most of that out. Gives you your version of Android 9 Pie. So basically this is just an internal look of what's actually going on under the hood. For most people this is not useful information. Look at what they tell you on the paperwork and you go by that. But if you really wanted to decode and see what's actually going on under the hood, definitely a good application to try out. IDA64. So next we're going to go ahead and do a benchmark. All my devices I like to do just a basic mark to see what's going on, what it's actually doing. I have done this on the previous Firesticks, also the TiVo Stream 4K, as well as the Chromecast with Google TV. So we're going to see how this stacks up against those devices. So let's run the benchmark, then we'll come right back. So here we are with the scores of the benchmark. You can see overall it got a 398. The graphics score was a 344. So where does that compare to some of the other streaming devices that we're familiar with? So the previous generation Fire TV Stick scored a 367 on the overall score and then scored a 321 on the graphics score. So you can see this Fire TV Stick is outperforming its previous version. As far as the other streaming sticks that this might be comparable to, the TiVo Stream 4K scored a 520 and the graphics score was a 458. And last but not least, the Chromecast with Google TV scored a 576 overall and the graphics score of 509. So just comparing this Fire TV Stick, which is the 4K Max, did beat the older Fire TV Stick, but it's still a ways behind the TiVo Stream 4K and the Google Chromecast with Google TV as far as the benchmark goes. But the benchmark is not going to be the full story. Full story is going to be how this actually performs. So as far as the Netflix, obviously I can't show any content here, but Netflix worked beautifully. Heading over to YouTube, we'll go ahead and we'll try a 4K video out. So the max resolution on this monitor is going to be 1080p, but this is a 4K video, and just plugging this into my 4K television, it worked beautifully. Didn't have any issues playing any type of 4K content. And just turn on stats for nerds, you can see some more details right there. So like I said, this monitor, the max resolution is going to be 1080p, so that's what we're going to get on this video, unfortunately. But if you look at the frames that are being played versus the frames that are being dropped, you can see it's really doing well, guys. 13 drop frames of over 3,000 frames. So no issues playing any video, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Netflix, whether it's your Plex, this should be able to handle videos fine. As far as gaming, this was able to connect to my Xbox One controller with no issues. This will also connect with any Bluetooth controllers that you have, or any Bluetooth remotes. This should work as well. Now, playing Asphalt was a new experience for me, at least on this device. Normally, I skip the gaming when I come to these sticks, these streaming sticks, but was really impressed with how this handled it. Was able to play with no issues, no stuttering, no freezing, no drop frames. It seems like everything was working how it should be. So I'm gonna cut this video here. If you have any additional questions, drop in the comments. I will do a follow-up just to answer some of those questions that I probably didn't get to on this video. As always, don't forget to smash a thumbs up, like this video, share this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.